One of the first and most subtle signs that a woman is deeply attracted to you isn't always in what she says, it's in how her energy shifts the moment you enter the room. This isn't about flirty smiles or exaggerated gestures, it's more primal than that. It's about the nervous system. A woman's attraction starts long before words are exchanged. Her body feels you before her mind fully processes what's happening. You see, when a woman is drawn to a man, her emotional state becomes more alert in his presence. She may become slightly more animated, more aware of how she carries herself, or even more composed depending on her personality. But the point is, something changes. Her nervous system tunes in. Her attention subtly orients around your presence, even if she tries to hide it. That's not manipulation, it's instinct. The female psyche is wired to feel safety and polarity first. When she's in the presence of a grounded, emotionally aware masculine man, her body often enters a state of heightened sensitivity. Her speech pattern might shift. She may play with her hair, adjust her posture, or unconsciously place herself near you. These aren't staged moves. They're subconscious recalibrations of her energy. Why? Because something in her is responding to the way you are holding yourself. What most men miss is this: attraction isn't something she chooses, it's something she experiences. And that experience often begins with her noticing herself change around you. That's what it means to have presence. Your energy invites her into a different emotional space. You're not doing anything overtly seductive, you're simply being in a way that affects her deeply. That is the mark of real masculine power. You might walk into a room and notice her glance shift toward you for a moment longer than necessary. Or maybe she was laughing comfortably with others, but when you arrived, she suddenly recalibrated, became a bit more conscious of herself, maybe a little quieter, maybe a little more expressive. That change, however small, is often involuntary. It's her nervous system reacting to yours. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. Now, this doesn't always mean she's ready for you to make a move, but it does mean you've made an impact, and from that moment on, everything you do will either confirm her attraction or dissolve it. So you need to pay attention, not to manipulate, but to honor the connection being initiated, because that shift in energy is not a game, it's a signal, a cue, a doorway. The kind of man who notices that shift, who stays grounded and attuned instead of reactive or arrogant, is the kind of man women don't forget. Because he didn't just chase chemistry, he respected it. He didn't force her attraction, he recognized it, held it, and allowed it to unfold naturally. So remember this: when her energy changes around you, don't ignore it, don't doubt it. Feel it. Because often the most powerful signs are the quietest ones, and the man who listens with his presence becomes the man she remembers with her heart. One of the most overlooked signs of deep attraction is mirroring, something so subtle that many men completely miss it. But for the woman who's genuinely drawn to you, her body begins to reflect yours without her even realizing it. And this isn't a trick or a technique, it's something rooted in the very psychology of connection. When a woman starts mirroring your posture, your gestures, or even the rhythm of your voice, it's a sign that her subconscious is aligning with your presence. She's attuning to you. Not because she's trying to seduce you, but because she already feels emotionally and energetically connected. This phenomenon is called limbic synchrony. It's the brain's way of bonding. It says, I'm safe with you, I want to relate to you. The human nervous system naturally mirrors people we feel emotionally close to. That's why lovers often walk in sync, speak at the same pace, or laugh in harmony. It's the body's way of saying, we're resonating. When a woman begins to mirror you, she may tilt her head when you do, cross her legs in the same direction, or take a sip of her drink just after you do. These actions aren't rehearsed. They're driven by her desire to feel more of you. She's subconsciously syncing with your masculine presence because it pulls her in emotionally, not just physically. This is one of the most primal ways the feminine says, I feel you, and I want you to feel me too. But here's what separates the emotionally intelligent man from the reactive one. He doesn't overanalyze or perform for attention. He notices quietly. He allows the connection to deepen without interrupting it. He stays present, aware, grounded in his own body, and that only amplifies the polarity. Because women don't want a man who performs for their approval. They want a man who is anchored enough to let their interest unfold naturally. If you want to deepen the connection in that moment, the answer is not to lean in with neediness. The answer is to relax further into your own energy. Let her mirror your emotional calm, your slow breath, your unshaken confidence. You become the emotional tone setter. And when she syncs with that frequency, the tension between you begins to feel magnetic, electric, without a single word needing to be said. Attraction is never just visual, it's energetic. And when a woman begins aligning her body with yours, what she's truly saying at a subconscious level is that you make her feel safe enough to open, safe enough to flow with your rhythm, safe enough to let go of control and trust the moment. And that is not something women do with just anyone. That is reserved for the rare man who knows how to hold space, lead with stillness, and move with purpose. So next time you notice her movements echoing yours, don't brush it off as coincidence. Realize what it is, a silent, powerful form of communication. Because when a woman mirrors you, she's not copying you, she's connecting. And the man who recognizes that becomes unforgettable. One of the clearest indicators that a woman is deeply attracted to you is when her curiosity about you moves beyond surface-level interest. She's no longer just participating in casual conversation. She's trying to understand you. And not in the way people gather facts or small talk their way through a moment, but in a way that reveals something deeper, emotional investment. When a woman is drawn to you, her questions subtly shift. She might ask about your past, your values, your opinions on things that matter. Not because she's being polite, but because she's trying to locate where your truth lives. She wants to understand how you see the world, not just what you do, but why you do it. It's her subconscious way of saying, I want to know the man, not just the mask. That's the difference between attraction and deep attraction. Casual interest wants a good story. Real attraction wants your essence. She's listening, not just with her ears, but with her emotions. She wants to feel the weight behind your words, the motivation behind your decisions. And the more you reveal the real you, not the version you think will impress her, the deeper that attraction becomes. It's important to understand. When a woman is asking deeper questions, she's not interviewing you, she's inviting you. She's creating emotional space for you to step into. She's signaling, I'm open to more if you are. But here's where many men either freeze up or fall into performance mode. They give rehearsed answers. They try to sound interesting or alpha or mysterious. But the woman who is emotionally awake can feel that. She doesn't want a performance. She wants your presence. The truth is, what makes you attractive isn't just your story. It's the way you share it. Are you grounded when you speak? Do you own your flaws without shame? Can you express your passion without needing validation? These are the moments where emotional attraction ignites. Because the more emotionally honest you are, the safer she feels to do the same. And emotional safety is what allows attraction to deepen into something unforgettable. When a woman sees that you can be open without being weak, expressive without being performative, she begins to feel that rare sense of emotional polarity. You're solid but not closed, curious but not needy, and that combination pulls her in because it's not just your words that matter, it's the energy behind them. So next time a woman asks you about your dreams, your fears, your views, don't rush to sound put together. Pause. Breathe. Tell the truth, even if it's not polished, because the man who dares to be emotionally real in a world of performance is the man she'll remember long after the conversation ends. Let her curiosity be the invitation, but let your honesty be the answer. Because when she wants to understand you, don't give her a script. Give her something real to feel. One of the most fascinating and telling signs of deep attraction is when a woman starts breaking her own rules around you. And I'm not talking about superficial boundaries like texting first or replying late just to keep it cool. I'm talking about the small, often unconscious ways she begins to bend the guidelines she's set for herself when you're in the picture. Not out of pressure, not out of desperation, but because something about your presence invites her to reconsider who she is with you. Attraction, when it's real, is disruptive. It doesn't just excite a woman, it challenges her. It pulls her out of her mental structure and into the emotional moment. That's why a woman who says she takes months to open up might suddenly start sharing personal stories with you within hours. Or a woman who usually maintains emotional distance might find herself lingering in your space, touching your arm, or losing track of time. These aren't inconsistencies. They're signs of alignment. Her body and heart are responding faster than her mind can manage. But this is where emotional intelligence becomes everything. Because when a woman starts breaking her patterns, a reactive man takes it as a green light to push, to escalate, to pursue with more intensity. But the wise man, he notices the shift and respects it. He doesn't reward the bending of her boundaries with entitlement. He holds space for her freedom, not just her attraction. Here's the psychological core of this. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to internal dissonance. She knows when she's stepping outside her own boundaries, and that can either feel liberating or frightening, depending on the man she's with. If you respond with grounding, if you remain centered, calm, unfazed by her unpredictability, she feels safe. Not because you're giving her permission, but because you're not trying to use her openness. You're simply witnessing it, holding it with masculine integrity. That's what makes a man unforgettable. Not just that she desired him, but that he gave her the freedom to desire him fully without judgment or manipulation. When a woman sees that she can let go of control and still be honored in that space, her trust deepens. And with that trust comes vulnerability, passion, surrender, all the things men try to force, but only the grounded ones receive naturally. So if she starts texting you more than she usually would, if she initiates touch when she's usually reserved, or if she opens up emotionally after telling herself she never would, that's not an invitation to take more. That's an invitation to be more present, to meet her not just with desire, but with depth. That's the energy she won't forget. When a woman starts breaking her own rules for you, it means her attraction has crossed from the mental to the emotional, from the planned to the felt. And in that space, what she's really asking is this: can you hold me without trying to control me? If you can, you're not just another man in her life. You become the one she rewrote her own story for. One of the most misunderstood but potent signs of deep attraction is a woman's willingness to engage with tension, not avoid it, not smooth it over, but actually lean into it emotionally, energetically, and even playfully. You see, most people assume that tension in a connection is a bad thing, that if things aren't easy, light, or constantly flowing, then there must be disinterest. But that's not how the feminine works. When a woman is truly attracted to you, she doesn't necessarily crave comfort, she craves aliveness, and aliveness is found in contrast, in unpredictability, in the unspoken space between two people who are attuned but not entirely predictable to one another. This is the dance of masculine and feminine polarity, and tension, real electric tension, is the stage where that dance begins. Pay attention to the moments when she doesn't fill the silence right away, when she holds your gaze a second longer than feels casual, when she teases you and waits to see if you'll take the bait or stay composed. These are moments filled with energy, and she's not doing it to test you. She's doing it because something about your presence makes her want to feel more. More challenge, more spark, more of the edge that separates real connection from polite conversation. Now, this is where many men get uncomfortable. They either rush to diffuse the tension by making a joke, talking too much, or changing the subject, or they interpret the moment as a threat, something to dominate or control. But what they fail to realize is that tension is not a problem to solve. It's a language to understand. And for a woman who's attracted to you, tension is her way of creating intimacy without saying a word. The way you handle that tension tells her everything. If you can stay calm, unshaken, relaxed in your body, she feels safe. Not in the soft, boring sense, but in the sense that she can go deeper into the emotional and sensual experience with you without having to manage your reaction. That's what she's actually watching for. Your emotional regulation in the heat of the moment. This is what separates the man she flirts with from the man she desires, the one who gets nervous and tries to impress her from the one who remains still, centered, and confident enough to let the moment breathe. When you show her that you're not afraid of emotional charge, she doesn't just trust you, she feels you. And that feeling is what lingers. So the next time she holds your gaze, plays with your words, or pushes up against your frame with a little attitude, don't flinch. Don't rush to fix. Just stay there. Be rooted. Let the moment stretch and expand. Because it's not about the words being said. It's about the energy you're both sitting in. When a woman leans into tension with you, it's because something about your energy feels real enough to hold her intensity. And when you meet that with calm strength, you don't just attract her attention, you earn her respect. One of the clearest, yet most emotionally layered signs that a woman is deeply attracted to you is when she begins to show her vulnerability. Unprovoked, unrehearsed, and often without fully realizing she's doing it. And I'm not talking about dramatics or oversharing for attention. I'm talking about the quiet, real moments where she lets her guard down, not because she's weak, but because something in you makes her feel safe enough to stop performing. This type of openness isn't casual. It's not something she gives to just anyone. In fact, many women have been conditioned to be guarded. Careful with their emotions, protective of their softness, strategic with what they reveal. So when she starts sharing a difficult memory, an insecurity, a dream she's scared to say out loud, or even a seemingly random emotional moment, she's not just talking, she's trusting. And in that trust, there is desire, not necessarily sexual in that instant, but profoundly intimate. Because attraction without emotional safety is fleeting. But when attraction is paired with emotional depth, it becomes unforgettable. And here's the truth most men don't realize. Vulnerability from a woman is not an invitation to fix. It's not a test to see how smart you are. It's not a trap. It's a reflection of how she feels in your presence. If she's revealing parts of herself she usually hides, it means she believes, at least subconsciously, that you can hold those parts, that you won't shame her, that you won't rush to control her, that you can simply be there with her fully while she steps out from behind the emotional armor she wears around the rest of the world. And if you truly want to deepen the connection, your job in those moments isn't to perform or posture, it's to listen with presence, to witness her without needing to jump in with advice or solutions, to stay grounded, because that stability is what tells her she made the right call in letting you see her. And that's what creates emotional polarity, the dynamic between her softness and your stillness, her openness and your containment. A woman's vulnerability is one of the most sacred gifts she can offer. But it doesn't come wrapped in a perfect moment. It often arrives messy, unplanned, or even in moments when she seems unsure of herself. Don't miss it because it's not dressed up. Don't dismiss it because it seems small. The man who pays attention, who sees through the surface and meets her in that honest space, is the man she won't forget. So if she opens up to you, really opens up, recognize what's happening, that's not weakness. That's emotional courage. That's attraction in motion. She's saying, without saying it, I feel something here, enough to be seen. And the man who knows how to receive that, not with ego, not with arrogance, but with depth, is the man who becomes more than a moment. He becomes the one who left an imprint on her soul.